Fabulous. I'm with Peter Familari and we're talking home innovations, and in a moment we are going to talk to Richard Taylor, who is from Touch Taxi Systems, which I'm not sure what that means. You get into the taxi and you get touched, or I think that's been around for some time actually. So, all right, is he on the line? Yes, he is indeed. Richard, hello.
Good afternoon.
Does it mean that you get into the taxi and get touched?
Unfortunately, no. It's an iPhone app that allows you to book a cab really easily.
Right. Now, I've just recently got an iPhone, so, you'll have to talk me through it incredibly slowly, Richard.
Well, I think the great thing about iPhones is that for people like you and I who aren't enormously au fait with technology, it's an app that you download. So you go either to the iPhone store, or if you've got an Android phone, you go to their store. You look up myTaxi, you can download it, so all it does is it pops up as a little icon on your phone. And when you want to book a cab, you just push the button, and it will try and connect you up with the nearest available cab. And the whole idea is to try and make it for you as a consumer, someone who uses a cab, really easy, and to try and improve your experience as a customer.
Right. So how much does the app cost?
The app's free.
Oh! I love the sound of that word, free.
Yeah, free is always fantastic. There are lots of free apps around, but some of them aren't so great.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the more successful ones. It was developed in Germany a couple of years ago, and it's now probably used by almost as many cab drivers in Germany as there are in Australia. Really?
So how does it come up in the cab? Like if I'm sitting in a cab as a passenger, and that taxi driver gets a booking through your app, how does that come up? How does that tell him?
The way it works is the cab driver also has to download an app to their
I see.
smartphone.
Yeah.
And what it does, it puts you in direct contact. So basically, when you say, I need a cab, it tries to find you the nearest one and it links the two of you up. That's the key to the system.
Right.
It automatically does it without you having to ring anybody up and go through the frustration of being put on hold or go through those automated telephone systems.
But what if I'm in a city that none of the cab drivers have got the app?
Well, I think that's an issue that we're dealing with at the moment. What happened in Germany is it's a chicken and egg scenario that we have to recruit enough drivers to make it worthwhile for you. We're running out of pilots in Sydney, in the northern beaches in New South Wales at the moment, and hopefully we'll be in Melbourne probably in the next couple of months. But we're trying to do it in a staged way so that we make sure that there are enough cabs so that when you are signed up, so that when you want to get a cab, you can get one. There are lots of things that we're going to be doing, but one of the key things in Germany that was incredibly successful, and we'll probably do the same thing here, is that in some of the big hotels and some of the big companies, we give them an iPad or an Android tablet so that when they need a cab, they can just push the button on the iPad and it automatically gets it for them. And that helps us build volume, because volume is really what this is all about.
Yeah. Peter?
Yeah, now, Richard, how long do you say before we'll see a trial in Melbourne?
Probably within a month or two. What we really want to do is make sure it works in Sydney first. Melbourne and Sydney are the most sophisticated and competitive taxi markets in Australia.
And we are the most livable city too.
Well, yeah, I saw the report the other day, and that's probably why I'm just about to move back to Melbourne.
Yes.
But I think also part of what we're looking at is our focus is on the customer experience, and as you all well know, there are plenty of problems in the cab industry at the moment. I mean, I think Professor Alan Fell's inquiry is a simple example of that. And what we hope the app will do is try and improve the experience of the customer, and also try and help cab drivers, because it's going to be independent of the networks they operate on already.
Richard, I think many parents will love this app, because if you've got youngsters, let's say at a nightclub, it means they don't have to walk the streets hunting down a cab. They can simply go to their phone, as you say, whether it's an Android-based phone or an iPhone. It will tell them, won't it, where the nearest cab is, and they simply, yep.
And it will link them up. And I mean, I think one of the key things that would be great for parents is that we use GPS tracking that ties up the person with the app and the driver, and so that from when they try and find a cab, it's completely tracked using our system until they hop out of the cab at the other end.
that I think is really terrific about it, and Colette mentioned travelling overseas, and if anyone's ever caught a cab overseas, they'll know that you just don't know whether you're being ripped off. But your application has a built-in fare estimator.
Well, that's one of the key things that we think that people really need to know what things are going to cost. I was in London only last week getting a cab, and I have to say, when it's...
You must be very rich.
Unfortunately, I'm very poor after paying £75 to go from London out to the airport.
Oh, you've got to get the train.
I would have got the train, I just didn't have time. Unfortunately, I was running late.
Okay.
Here's the key thing. People like to know what the cab fare is going to cost. And so we've tried to build in things that make it easier and a better experience for people using cabs. Because I think sometimes when you get a cab, it seems the whole system is far more set up for the driver and for the owner and the people who run the networks rather than for people who actually use cabs.
Well, Richard, thank you so much for talking to us today, and we will look forward to when it's being trialled in Melbourne, and maybe I'll be even better with my iPhone by then.
Well, I think myTaxi will be exactly what you need, and I'll look forward to seeing you using it soon.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Richard Taylor from Touch Taxi Systems. We've got to take a break, and we'll be back after this.